We're going to be doing Democrats' best case scenario for the U.S. Senate elections this November. We'll start with the likely blue seats and end with the tilt. For that, I already have it called, but that being the state of Minnesota, going to put that into the likely blue column. This state has a long history of voting blue, and I don't think much will change this November, so that's going to be the call in Minnesota. We're going to add a tilt rating and move on to the likely red states. There's going to be a few of those. We've got the state of South Carolina, which I'm going to put into the likely red column. This one, I think, really, no matter who the Republican nominee is in this race, I know the primary has been settled, but whoever it ends up being will almost certainly win the race. And I should point out, this is Democrats' best case scenario. Still have to make it somewhat realistic. I'm not going to have Democrats winning South Carolina by a lead margin or whatever it be. Still has to be within the realm of reason. This is just a hypothetical best case scenario for Democrats in the Senate. But I think that will be the end. Actually, there'll be one more in the likely red column, that being the state of Kansas. I'm going to put that into the likely red column. Now we're going to move on to the lean blue. There's going to be quite a few of these, so be patient. We've got the state of New Hampshire, going to put that into the lean blue column. The state virtually always votes blue. The state does have a Republican governor, however, which is a very impressive feat by the Republican Party. Generally, the Northeast in New England area, Republicans tend to be a bit more moderate. You've got like Mitt Romney, former governor from Massachusetts, who was obviously a Republican, in a state that, as you can see, there's safe blue, so that's a hard role to fill, but generally that means they're more moderate on some social issues, sometimes others, but that's going to be the call there in New Hampshire. Heading down now to Georgia, going to put that into the lean blue column as well. The state currently has a Democratic senator, Jon Ossoff. He won his election in the early days of COVID, and he's running for re-election. And I think that he will win fairly easily. He's doing really well in the betting markets, the polls, the fundraising numbers, virtually everything. So I feel reasonably confident in putting that into the lean blue column, especially in a Democrat's best case scenario prediction. Another one in the lean blue column is going to be the state of North Carolina. I think I'm actually going to go back on New Hampshire, going to put that into the likely blue column in a best case scenario, but back to the lean blue, North Carolina. This one I could potentially see going tilt for the real prediction. I think it may be close. I do think Democrats are almost certain to win it, but it is still going to be a swing state, and the state is going to be competitive regardless of who the nominees are. But I think Roy Cooper, former Democratic governor of the state, will do quite well in this election, especially in a best case scenario for his party. Another state in the lean blue column is going to be the state of Maine. Going to put that into the lean blue column. This will be the second flip of the prediction, with the first being the state of North Carolina, Maine flipping from red to blue. Another state in the lean blue column is going to be the state of Michigan. In the lean blue column, the Democratic primary determined that the more progressive option of the candidates ended up winning the primary. I don't think that will be to Democrats' advantage on the general election. I think Democrats will still win this seat, but I do think it will be closer than it would have been if Democrats had nominated the moderate, but we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Another state in the lean blue column, we're going to go with the state of Ohio. This one I think will probably vote blue. I don't think it'll be by a lean margin for the real prediction, but that brings Democrats to 50 seats, Republicans at 45. And now we're going to do some lean red seats. For that, we've got the state of Florida. I'm going to put that into the lean red column. The state generally always votes red. In past elections, quite a while, well, a couple decades ago, the state was very competitive. It was arguably the biggest swing state in 2000, for example. It was the state that determined the presidency on the Senate level too. In the past, it had gone back and forth, electing Democratic senators and whatnot, but now the state is pretty reliably Republican. It will be interesting to see if the trends that help that occur stick with Republicans in this November election. I think that it will be somewhat similar to that. I don't think that they will do well enough to win it, especially in a Democrats' best case scenario by a likely margin, but certainly a possibility. That's going to be the call there in Florida. Now we're going to be moving on to the tilt states. I think the rest, no, we still have one more in the lean blue column, that being the state of Alaska. Going to put that into the lean blue column. This Mary Peltola is the Democratic nominee. She's won on the statewide level before, and I think that she can win again this November. In the real prediction, I have the state in the tilt blue column, last I predicted. But as far as Alaska goes, in this Democrats' best case scenario, that's going to be the call there. And then I think the rest of these will end up being in the tilt margin. We actually have come back and forth on this one in the Democrats' best case scenario, but I think for Nebraska, I'm going to put it into tilt Dana Osborne's column. He's, last I checked, in the betting markets, got about a 25% chance. It could have changed since then, but I think that if he has a chance in Democrats' best case scenario, he would probably win. He actually isn't a Democrat, he's an independent, but he's kind of the de facto Democratic candidate, and I think that that will lead to his advantage in a year that is shaping up to be very good for the Democratic Party. Two other states in the tilt column. I'm going to start with the state of Texas. This one, a bit surprising. I am on the fence about whether or not this one will go tilt red or tilt blue. Generally, I have it in the Republicans column for the real predictions, but for the Senate, for the best case scenario for Democrats, going to put it into the tilt blue column. And lastly, we have the state of Iowa. Going to wrap things up. Oh, wait, I am missing a state. Nope, it's just because one of them is independent. So Iowa, going to put that into the tilt blue column, and that's going to be the final call. One independent in the Senate, who Dan Osborne said he wouldn't caucus with either party. We'll see if that holds true. But as well as 53 Democrats and 46 Republicans. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.